Hello, thank you for joining us today. I'm going to talk to you today about different tools and props and what to expect during meditation. Whether you're doing yoga, poses, active meditation on your own, which for me, active meditation on my own is any position, form, whether it's squats, sitting down, stretching, movements, facial expressions, sounds, anything like that that really allows you to fully express yourself and feel if there's any tension in your body. For yoga, a lot of times you'll see me using blocks or other people if you've taken classes or watched other yoga videos. These can extend your poses, they can make them easier, or sometimes they can make them a bit more challenging. A lot of times you use them if you can't touch the ground. So say you're doing a triangle stance and you're coming down and you're really tight and you can't quite touch the ground, because a lot of us, if we're not warmed up, can't. This is a great way to just position and allow yourself to hold. That way you can push down into the block and really feel what's lingering in your body, what tension is going on there. If your legs fall asleep while you're sitting down, you can actually sit on the block with your legs crossed. You'll feel that it actually opens it up. It allows you to sit on your seat bones, open the chest, and breathe through. I always recommend seeing how it feels with the block and without. That way you know if they work well for you. A lot of times you can use them in pairs. That way they're easy to get, one on each side of the mat. Sometimes if I'm sitting on them, I'll put one under one seat bone and one under the other. It's always what is comfortable for you and what you feel is right for you. Yoga straps, you can use resistant bands too. They are great tools to kind of extend a hold or support you if you're not feeling strong enough to hold the pose on your own. Because with any form of exercise, meditation, it's not always about the quantity or how many you do, but it's what is the quality and the form that you're using. That way you're building a good practice and your body remembers that and can sustain and build. Rome wasn't built in a day, and your self-care practice is not going to be perfect day one. Some days we don't feel as good. Some days we have more tension. Some days we kind of feel yucky. So you want to be mindful of how you're feeling that day and work with yourself on that. Give yourself a little bit of credit for just doing the exercises and taking your time to feel how your body feels that day. That's what meditation is really about, is bringing your attention into yourself and how you feel. That way you can release tension mentally, you can release stress, you can release emotions and any physical restrictions you might be going through or having that day. So yoga straps, I really like them for around the feet because you can hold on to them. They can help you lower down. You can also walk yourself up. You can come back into a lying position, and it can open up your hips and just kind of let it hang there. That way the leg's not twisting you, because you don't want to overstretch. You want everything to be gentle and mild. Nothing should be rushed when you're doing active meditation or yoga or exercises on your own. It should always be at your own pace and at whatever support you need that day. And it varies. There's some days I am full hand on the floor and I'm going through all the stretches and feel really good. And then there's other days where I barely make it past my knees and I'm like, what happened? You'll have those days too, and it's okay. Just remind yourself that you're doing it, and that's the most important thing. So resistant bands can work too. They just have a bit more give than the cotton yoga straps. You can also make a loop in these. If you have a resistant band, you can tie a knot in it. It just depends on what you have at home, what's available, and what you enjoy using. I like the little half foam rollers. They're about 6 or 8 inches in diameter. I like to use them along the spine so to kind of sit and rock on them. This allows you to open the shoulder, kind of keep your pelvis off the floor so you can really feel your chest kind of bend back around. A lot of times we curl everything around this way and it's just nice to open it up. When you're foam rolling though, you don't want it that way. You want it perpendicular to the spine this way so you can actually put that under you. A lot of people will rush foam rolling and that's not really the point of it. You actually need to rest on it and move it slowly along your muscles. That way your muscles have time to actually respond and react and release. If you don't, then you're just warming up the muscles, not actually releasing them. So you can hold it there, like right there, my spine kind of released and shift a little bit. So you just want to be mindful of it and you just roll nice and easy. Take your time with it so you can feel how each part of your back feels. Where are you feeling tension? Is one side tighter than the other side, which is very common. And you just gently roll. Make sure you're breathing and taking your time. Right there for me is kind of sore, so I'm going to hang out. You can just let your shoulders open, let your head fall back. You don't have to be up intense while you're doing it. It should actually be focused on breathing. And you don't want to stress your neck out. Sometimes I'll support my head if it gets too tender and just kind of let my head rest into it. Sometimes I'll get stuck a little bit where I have a lot of tension, so I'll actually take this and move it there. And this is why I have another one close at hand. Let me grab it. So I'll put one on the lower part of my back and one as support for my neck. There we go. My hair is kind of in the way, so if you have hair like I do, just move it, and then you can roll and just sit on it so it kind of forms to your low back and then your sacrum. Make sure your hair is out of the way because then it will roll and that doesn't feel very comfortable. Where that tight band was, I'll just sit on it, breathe. If you feel that tight band, you just sit on it too. Sometimes when we have that discomfort or that restriction, we want to get out of it, but it's more important to sit with the discomfort as long as it's not too painful and breathe. If you can't take 2 good deep breaths and have it release or relax onto the foam roller, then it's painful and you need to move out of it and move more gently into it, or forego it today. Talk to your doctor. So right here, it's starting to loosen up on me, so I'm going to move my hair out of my way. I should have put it up a little bit. And now I can actually roll that. If you notice your hamstring's tight, take some time, move it around, flex your foot, push your knee down. Don't hyperextend though, it should all be relaxed and easy movements. And that feels a lot better to me. I have a little bit more tension on my right side, but I'm gonna change positions to get to it. And that's basically what all active meditation and self-care is about, is becoming aware and attentive to how you feel in your body. A mat for yoga or your meditation, I like it because it's kind of sticky. It doesn't allow your feet to slide, so if you're doing poses, I do recommend a mat, especially if you have wood floors or tile, because you'll slide more. If you're in socks and on carpet, you'll slide some too. Or I really like my little yoga socks. They have the little grippies and they have toes. Because my feet are notoriously cold, Again, you don't have to have these things, but sometimes they're nice to just see what you like, what makes you feel like your best self. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to tell you about tools or props, but I think that's it. Oh, I did remember blankets. Some people feel like the blocks are too hard, so you can always have a folded up blanket. This one's a cotton one, so it's a little bit more dense. It's not as fluffy. If you have a fluffy one, get one that's a little bit bigger, but also play with sizes. Some people like to have a towel instead of a blanket, and that's fine. You can actually put this underneath your head if you're laying on your back, underneath your low back. If you have some hip flexor issues, it's a good way to kind of extend. So you just lay down and see it lifts your abdomen up, and it really opens up the abdomen, the rectus abdominal, and the hip flexors a little bit because it stretches and opens the pelvis and the abdomen, so you're not all hunched over. All right, moving on to what to expect emotionally, physically, and mentally. So kind of like the tension on the right side of my back while I was doing it. That's a physical thing, but a lot of times it can also be emotional. So with me, it was along my spine, and that represents emotional and mental support typically. And so right now, going through everything that we're going through and not knowing exactly what the future holds, I have to keep reminding myself that I am supported and that I'm okay. So more than likely, that tension in my back is a representation of how I'm feeling with everything going on. Being a small business owner, a massage therapist, a personal trainer, and a healer, a lot of things are up in the air right now. We're doing a lot of work on our own and not seeing our clients. And so for me, that has always been where I feel the most supportive, is being active in my role as a healer, as a massage therapist, and personal trainer. So a lot of times I'm noticing that I have to remind myself that I am still supported. My clients are amazing, and I do appreciate you guys very, very much. And I look forward to being there when this all kind of settles down and we know what direction we need to take. So if you're feeling fear and anxiety and you're doing meditation, a lot of times you'll need to cry. That is a normal release. I'm not typically a crier. I tend to notice more tension and release that way, more of a physical. But some people with yoga, active meditation, or just meditation in general, they really have a lot of emotions come up. So if you've ever been kind of choked up during a yoga session or on your own, just kind of breathing, don't be alarmed if you feel you need to cry. That's not a bad thing. That's actually a really good thing, and I give you a ton of kudos, because to me, crying is courageous, and it shows that you are very strong and very in touch with all your emotions. Again, it's your practice, it's what you're feeling and what you need to release. So if you're not crying, like I don't, that's okay too. That's just not where you're at, and that is perfectly fine. There's beauty and courage in that too, acknowledging where you're at in that moment and where you have been in the past, because you may have had moments where you've cried to release things. We all need those releases at different times, and we're all at different stages every day. So be who and where you are today, right now. Emotional releases, we talked about that. Mental releases. What I've noticed with my meditation practice is I almost always have to have an affirmation to really feel my mental resistance or tension shift. So for me, right now, my affirmation would be, I release all my pent up emotions and feeling stuck. And so as I breathe through that, I notice that my mind feels sharper and more aware. Now, sometimes most of us have to go through our whole segment of our meditation, however long that is. Some people it's 5 minutes, some it's 15, some it's an hour. again, it's what works and is needed for you, not what somebody else stipulates. Unless you have medical restrictions, then always listen to your doctors. They know your medical history. They can advise you on what may not be okay or what would be okay. Another one is I feel relaxed and limber in my mind, in my body, and in my emotions. And so those are good ones, I think, right now to focus on. That way you can release your emotions, you can work through all the gunk that's coming up with our daily lives kind of being up in the air right now, because we're definitely working through some changes and figuring out where and what we need to do each day when we've been used to a set schedule that is kind of regimented for us. Having a bit more liberty can be a little bit disconcerting. So you want to be patient with yourself, work through it, breathe through it. Breathing is the most important thing. And I think that covers kind of what to expect. Always feel free to send me questions if there's something I can give you more feedback on, more guidance on. I'm always here to help, even though right now it's more at a distance. I hope you have a great day, and good luck and blessings on your self-care practice and everything that you are working to heal on your journey. Thank you.